you guys so very much for tuning in. I truly appreciate this. This was the spirit of moment. This is something that God has placed on my heart. Thank you guys so very much for being a part of this, being a part of a Talk to Remember, and really just opening up your horizons, opening up your eyes and your hearts to what God has placed on my heart to be able to talk to you guys about. I put out a post, a video earlier today about what I've been going through in my life with this roller coaster. And when I got home, I decided to go ahead and get back into listening to scripture, listening to the word. The very first message that popped up on my YouTube channel or my YouTube is Hope City, where, if you're familiar with Hope City, is an amazing and genius pastor by the name of Jeremy Foster, who is the lead pastor of this church and this mobile church. And he is amazing. He is hilarious. I love him. And his message that I listened to was called Walk While You Wait. And in that moment, I was just trying to figure out where I was in my time in the now, because I wanted to get a better handle on what was going on. As you guys know, I have not been posting anything on YouTube for the past 2 weeks, and I decided 2 or 3 weeks, and I decided, well, enough is enough. Time for me to go ahead and get out of the funk, and pull up my britches and move forward in what I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to go, and continue on a path really that God has placed me on in order to get where He has me to go. And I was just so down on myself this entire time, where I could not understand and I could not pick myself back up. And I would call out to God, and it just felt like it wasn't enough, where I was trying to get into His word and it just felt like it was not enough. And it felt like I was just trying so hard but not getting anywhere in the process, until I listened to Pastor Jeremy Foster with Walk While You Wait, where he was actually telling me, it was like he was talking to me. God was having him talk to me in my current situation of what I'm doing, and I need to basically get up and I need to start walking again. That even though I've had opposition, even though I've had some highs and lows in my life at this very moment of what I've gone through, I cannot stay in that moment. I have to move forward. I have to walk it out. In order for me to get to the next level, the next step of where I'm supposed to be, I have to walk it out. And so, as I was listening to his word earlier today, his message, God prompted me, or it prompted me to go ahead and allow God to truly speak to me and really just talk to you guys about this whole situation of how we can actually get through this, because I know that I'm not the only one that has been dealing with this, that is not just, it's a stronghold. He also had another one that I listened to after Walk While You Wait. It was called Struggles versus Stronghold, I believe. And that really let me know that, something about myself, about what I was going through or what I still am going through, that I wasn't just going through a struggle. This was something beyond a struggle. This was actually going through a stronghold. This was the enemy having a stronghold on my life because of how it was, my mind was already disarranged. in the way where everything was just discombobulated. All of my thoughts and my whole process was just out of whack, out of touch, and I felt like I was falling in a black hole. If you guys have seen Get Out, you know when he was in that black hole and trying to reach to get back to the top but wasn't able to get there. So now he's sinking and sinking and sinking further and further and further into this black hole. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, how can I get myself out of this situation? And I had to just, in that moment, know and understand that I have a situation where I have a problem. There's something deeper, and there's a strength, right, that's trying to hold me back, deter me from reaching God and getting back to that moment, and getting back to that sense of relationship with God that I was missing, that I was longing for a while, that felt like I was not able to get connected to. So I wanted to be able to bring this message to you guys, because I know, like I said, I'm not the only one that's going through it, but this is something that God has prompted me to be able to go ahead and get out as soon as I possibly could, to reach you guys and let you guys know that you're not in this alone, that we're all, each and every one of us are going through something in our own ways, but we cannot stay in that very own, cubby or whole black hole. But we need to know that there is a helping hand that's extended for us, that's reaching out to us, and we need to take hold of it. So the title of this message is, I couldn't figure out how I wanted to title this, but I decided to go ahead and title it, How to Move from a Paused Position. How to move from a paused position. And in this moment, we always hear someone say, it's so popular now, right? Where we always hear that we're waiting on God. We always make it a point for ourselves to say, I'm waiting on God to get me through this situation. But in reality, we always say that we're waiting on God, but we're not waiting on God. God is waiting on us, or we are waiting on God, right? When we need to actually do something about our situation. We need to walk through it, not just to stay in that position and just think that God is going to get us out of it. He's walking us through it. He's walking with us through what we're going through. But I'm sorry, y'all, it's like 10 o'clock, almost 11 o'clock, okay? So yeah, but we have to know in that moment that we need to not be waiting on God, but we need to, God is calling us for something bigger and better for our lives. That He has, a quest for us to go on. He has a purpose set for our lives. He has everything positioned the way that it needs to be. But in order for us, we need to get out of the funk. We need to get out of the position that we have placed ourselves in. That's really what it is. Because yeah, we've gone through something, but we were never supposed to stay in that position. We were supposed to continue to move forward. But since we've stayed in that state for so long, we don't know how to move forward. We don't know what exactly to do, how to go about getting out of that black hole, out of that situation. So now we're in a pause position where we are surrounded by nothing but negativity. Everywhere we walk, or everywhere we think, everything that we think about it's just negativity that's pouring into us left and right, and we're just trying to stop it, but it's pouring into us so at a rapid pace that we don't know how to move out of the way of it, right? We don't know how to pivot. We don't know how to move along. So I want to reiterate what I said earlier today. It's okay not to be okay. As the title said, it's okay not to be okay. But when we are going through something, we need to understand, yeah, we're going to have, it's going to be tough for us, but we cannot stay in that position. We need to be able to learn and know to move forward, that in order for us to get where we are supposed to go, that, with me, God told me already what he wanted me to do, how he wanted me to go about preaching to and getting the message out to his people, preferably in my case, millennials. And he already gave me a game plan. But when something as, this situation hit me, it was like it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I just went completely down, where I didn't know how to pick myself up out of it. That I kept giving excuse after excuse, and I tried to, instead of lean on God, I was trying to just go ahead and basically numb the situation, or put a little band-aid on the situation by looking at things that would get me out of the space, right? I was watching movies that would get me out of the space, but not really healing my situation, not necessarily helping me through what I was going through, until I had to finally put my foot down and stand up and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm tired of going through the same cycle. I cannot keep doing this. In order for me to get better results and move on with my life and get where I'm supposed to go, and knowing that, okay, yeah, I am going through a little adversity here. I'm going through, this point in my life, but I'm not going to allow that to define who I am and where God has positioned me and where he has placed me and where I'm supposed to go. I'm not going to allow my situation to do that. So I had to ask myself this question: when am I going to stand up and take my life back? When am I going to stop allowing the enemy to talk down to me, make me feel guilty of what I was doing, make me feel guilty of what happened in the past, make me feel guilty of my life completely? When am I going to take my life back? When am I going to stand up and say, enough is enough? I'm not going to go down the same road that I did before. I'm not going to go through depression again. I'm going to get out of this before it wrecks me, because I know that, what God has placed in my heart is way more and way better than what my current situation. I know that he has blessed me to be so great. And then I was so consumed by the negativity that was attacking me left and right, that I didn't even really take a time to look and appreciate the blessings that were right in front of me. That every single thing that has been happening in my life, I wouldn't have been able to do it without God. And because of his grace and mercy, because of his love for each and every one of us, he sees that even though we are down and the enemy is trying to put his foot on us and trying to keep us down, that even though, and it seems like we're succumbing to it, even though all of that is going on in our lives, he still loves us and he's still blessing us. He's still looking after us. He knows that we cannot forget him. He knows that, you know, we're in this tug of war where we're fighting for our lives, right? We're fighting to get our lives back. We're fighting to find peace and find that rhythm again. Find that love and that relationship once again that we had, that was strong and built up with him. And because of the experience that we've already had with God so far, then we're able to get out of that, I feel like, quicker than a person that has not necessarily gone or have a relationship with God. Now, if you don't have a relationship with God, this is off of my notes, but if you don't have a relationship with God, then I want to be able to bring you into this space with open arms and welcoming hearts, knowing that, and a welcome heart, and just letting you know that, you know, you're not alone. Each and every one of us, before we were able to get into this position, this place of knowing who God was and building that relationship with him, we were once in a situation that you were in where you still don't know what you want to do, or you still don't know where you want to go. You still don't have a relationship with God. You may not even be baptized. You may not have given your life to God. But I want to bring you into this space right now and just let you know that you're not alone. I still love you. We still love you. We still care about you. You're still a human being, and we're going to see you through it, and we're going to help you to get to the position, the point in your life where you're ready to say, "Here I am, Lord," with opening arms, with a welcome heart, and just surrender in this time and submit to him fully, and just let him come into your, you opening up the doors of your heart and your life, and allowing him to come in as he wants to do, as he says in Revelation chapter 3, and being able to do that, being able to come into your life and being able to change you and renew you and strengthen you and provide you, just bless you and provide you with the guidance, the true guidance that you truly need to make it throughout this life. So I welcome you here in this very moment. God has already given me a purpose and an assignment, and it is my duty to make sure that I see that assignment through. That he is already, like I've told you guys earlier, he has already told me and let me know what he has for me to do, what he wants me to do. And he's given me messages before that I decided I'm not ready. I can't do it because I didn't have the strength to get up, get my tripod together, turn on my recording on my phone, and go ahead and start it. So here I am 2 to 3 weeks later saying I'm ready. I can't stay in this funk anymore. I need to get up and get out, and I need to, because people need to hear his word more than ever now. And I want to be able to do my due diligence and make my assignment come alive and be able to do, God has given me this platform. God has given me this opportunity. He has given me this blessing to talk about what's right, what's best, and what I've been going through to help you guys out, and also to spread his word, spread his message to you guys, to know that he's always with you and he's never going to leave you nor forsake you. So we cannot sit around on what God has given us. We have to continue to move forward. We have to be able to take that and be able to spread awareness, spread the gospel to others. As I was just reading before I get to the actual passage that I wanted to bring to you guys today, I was reading them, and the earlier early chapters of Matthew where it talks about being the salt of the world and being the light of the world and being able to be there, not hiding what God has blessed you with, what He has given you, how He has anointed you, but being able to use that for the good of, being able to reach people that He has blessed us to be able to reach. So it's our duty to be able to use the gifts that He has given us, the gifts and talents that He has blessed us with, for not evil, but for good, and being able to help others that need, that don't necessarily have or know a way out of their situation. He has brought you into the space, and you're here on this earth for a purpose, for a reason, to be able to help walk into that space and be able to help others and open that space for them to know and understand that they are not alone, that they can actually do it, that they can actually, that they are, important, just as important as the next person. So don't stay in a pause position. Don't stay in the guilt and the shame and the despair. Whatever life throws at you, throw it back. Know that, yeah, you're going through some things, but that was only for a season. Don't stay in that season. Don't stay in a situation that was only made for a season. Move forward. My situation was only made for a season, for a very, very, very short season in my life, but I allowed it to prolong my actions on what God has told me to speak to you guys about. So now here I am 2 to 3 weeks later, when I should have went ahead and I should have started it back up. But I didn't do that because I was like, I don't have the passion for it. I feel lost. And Lord, I need you, but I don't know how to call on you. And when I do call on you, I feel empty and I feel like, what am I doing this for? It honestly felt like hope was lost, that I did not have any hope. But I thank God that He did not give up on me, and He allowed me to still have that seedling of faith left in me, to use that, to allow that to be able to flourish and blossom into an amazing and beautiful flower that it is now, today, where I am able to sit here and be able to talk to you guys about how good God is to me and what He is doing in my life and what I know that He wants to do in your life as well, and let you know to not stay stagnant. Don't stay in a pause position, because that will get you nowhere, but stay paused, right? Just like when we watch a movie or when we watch Netflix or whatever, we pause it, where it's like frozen in time until we get back to it. And that's how we're leading our lives. That's what we're doing in our lives, is we pause our situation because we may not know how to handle it. That has become overwhelming for us, so we had to pause it before we were able to move forward. And I don't want that to happen for me, and I don't want that to happen for anybody else. I don't want that to happen to you, for you either. I want you to be able to hit play and continue to walk out what you're going through day to day. Even though I wasn't on here, I said, okay, I at least have to, post something on social media, at least one thing. So I made sure that I did that, and I honestly feel like that was something that really did help. More than I think it. I actually give it credit, but it really did help, because it made me not to give up completely on what I was going through. Next, like I said, pick yourself up and keep moving. I had to pick myself by my britches, like they say in the old back in the day. Um, I had to put on my big girl panties, and I had to keep moving forward. I couldn't allow negativity to stop me in my tracks. I had to get back on track to where I left off. Where I left off, I needed to say, okay, wipe my hands of where I was. That's done and over. Let's keep moving. Don't stay stagnant. Don't stay in a pause position. Don't stay on pause. Play that thing out. It's going to be hard to get back into it, but even if you have to walk it out and it's going by so slowly, don't give up. Keep moving. Keep going forward. There is still work to be done. You were placed on this earth for a reason. You have a purpose that God has given you, and He wants you to fulfill it. He has given you the order, the authority, you the opportunity to feel in what He has called you to do. He has given you the platform. He has given you the responsibility. Now it's your turn. It's your time to see that thing through. And yeah, He can use somebody else, but He's giving you the opportunity to be able to do it. So don't you think that you're doing yourself a disservice and God a disservice if you don't step up to the plate and do something that you are truly passionate about and what God has placed on your heart to be able to do? Something that you've been wanting to do for a very long time is taking, time to get there, but it's taking even more time because now you're in a pause position. Don't allow your setbacks to be to defy who you are and defy your dreams, your passion, your purpose. Continue to move forward. Know that it's not over. God is working, but He expects you to work as well. I've said this before, and I will continue to say it because it's so true. God is working in the midst of all of this. He hasn't stopped. We have gone through a pandemic. We're going through a racial situation. We're going through a lot. And throughout all of this, God, as you've noticed, God has not stopped at all. He continues to keep it going, continue to help us, continue to support us, continue to be our ride or die. He is with us through it all. So why are we stopping? Why are we staying stagnant? Why do we push pause on our life when God never pushed pause on Himself? I want to leave you guys with this scripture in Matthew chapter 25, verse 14, where it says the story about investment. And it goes to talk to you guys about, it goes to tell you about a man that's getting ready to go on his trip, and he decides to leave his servants, three different portions of money. And he leaves 5 bags of money. He leaves the other 2 bags of money. He leaves one with 1 bag of money. And he expects them while he's gone to go ahead, and he's giving them responsibility over the money. He expects them to invest it and figure out what they're going to do with it. But at the end of this story, the guy with the 5 bags, he decides to double it. He did great. The guy with 2 bags doubled his, but the guy with 1 bag, the 1 bag of money, he decided to go ahead and hide his and say that, I was holding out to until you came back, because I thought that maybe you wanted to do something with it. And you know, the guy that's the that went on a trip, he's like he's furious. He's like, are you serious? Why didn't you do something with the talents, with the responsibility, with the money that I gave you? Why didn't you do something with the talent that I gave you? I gave you this money. Go out there and invest in it properly, and being able, so you can go ahead and double it. Do something with it, with what I gave you. And he decided, he was just so upset. So he took his money. He took the responsibility that he gave that man with 1 bag to the guy with 5 bags that doubled it with 10, because he did not use his gifts. He did not use his responsibility, the responsibility that he was given, in the proper way, in the right way. He didn't invest in the way that he was supposed to. And we have to be cognizant of that and really understand and know that we are blessed with the talents and with the gifts that we are given. We have a responsibility to make sure that we do something good with what we have been blessed with. But if we don't do anything and we just allow our gifts and our talents to fall to the wayside, then what are we really doing? We're doing ourselves a disservice, and we're doing God a disservice. We're not adding to the kingdom, but we're taking away from the kingdom. Or we're not even taking away, but we're standing in a standstill. We're paused in a position where it's not, there's no type of opportunity for connection, or any type of opportunity for more people to know who God is, because we decided to not, we were so frightened that we decided to stay in a position of being on pause, so that we won't make any mistakes, so that if we just stay in a safe environment and not go outside of our comfort zone, then we don't have anything to worry about. So I encourage you today, as I encourage myself, to continue to move outside of our comfort zones and to go into the uncomfortability of where God has us to go in order to receive the true blessings that He has for our lives, the purpose that He has for each and every one of us. Because if we want to stand up and stand out and truly make a difference, make a change, and have the things that we want, and that we what we want to do with our lives and how we want to better our lives, then we need to make a difference. We need to step outside of our comfort zone in order to be able to do that. So I challenge you, and I challenge myself to be able to do that, to not place ourselves on pause anymore, to continue to move forward, continue to play in the game, and know that we can make a true difference. So I